Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another of my Medieval Kingdoms 12-12 tournament battles. This is round 2 that we are currently in, and in the last round 2 set of battles, we saw Hohenmaster versus DeBoss, and Hohenmaster has moved on to round 3. So in this round, we're going to take a look at HAMDOGCDXX versus the Red Celt, and let's go ahead and get to it. Alright guys, welcome to the first battle between the Red Celt and HAMDOGCDXX, and it's nice to see that they've chosen a desert landscape. I think this is the first desert map that we're going to see some battles on, but the Red Celt's army is before us, and he is playing as the Kingdom of England, and he has 4 units of the Retinue Longbowmen in the front lines. These guys look great. They've got excellent range as well, 200, which I believe is 50 above the standard archer units. And then he has 4 units of the late period mounted sergeants, or 3 units, sorry, because he's got 2 on this flank, and then 1 over on this flank. And he has the English king over here as well. You can see his beautiful crown on display for all to see on the battlefield. And on each flanks for his on each of the flanks for his infantry line, he has 4 units of the heavy bowmen, 2 on each side. And in the center, he has 2 units of the foot knightly retinue and 2 units of the late period sergeants. So they're kind of the last line, basically, or his main line of infantry. And then I think he's hoping to use the heavy bowmen on the flanks to support his cavalry. And it looks like he had a bit of money left over, so he's got 1 unit of these peasants as well. So I'm not sure if he's going to use them for fodder, just to get in front of the enemy archers, or maybe he'll be able to flank with them. I'm not exactly sure. But that's it for the Red Celt's army, so let's go ahead and take a look at HAMDOGCDXX's. And now we're going to look at HAMDOGCDXX's army. He is playing as the Swiss Waldstadt. And again, he's got a pretty bizarre formation, not too out of the ordinary, but I kind of like the fact that he's got them split up in different types of detachments. So if we zoom out as a whole so you guys can see, he's got about 3 different zones with infantry and then separated by crossbows. So let's look at the units a little bit closer. So he's got 2 units of the archer sergeants on each of the flanks and 2 units of crossbow sergeants. And then this wing over here has the swordsmen of Zurich, and they have the iconic blue and white. And he has 3 units of the Zolleringer Spear Militia, 3 units total. Each one is represented behind the different detachments. In the center, he has 2 units of Bern Macemen. And then way on the flank, he's got the swordsmen of Uri, which look really cool. I like the Uri swordsman better than the Zurich swordsman. They're exactly the same, but I kind of like the yellow and black color scheme a little bit better. And for his main, or I guess his last line, I should say, he's got 3 units of the pikemen, high period pikemen. And then we've got some Swiss nobles of the late period, so definitely spent a lot of money on his cavalry. 2 units over on this flank, and 1 over on the far flank. And Rudolf of Arlech has joined us for the battle today, and whereabouts would he be? There he is. I knew I would find his red plume there. We've seen him before in battles on the channel, but he is there with his mace. I like how they have added that so that you can kind of tell which one the general is, because he's usually not holding the standard lance. But that's it for the 2 army comps, so let's go ahead and get to the battle. Alright guys, so the battle has begun with the Red Celt moving forwards his forces across the valley to get into range of Hamdog's army. And again, the longbows will have the better range than Hamdog's archers, so Hamdog will eventually have to come to him. And it looks like the Red Celt is adjusting his forces just a little bit. Now, Hamdog is actually dividing his forces into 3 separate wings, which is a bit of a calculated risk, because this right wing over here is very, very far away from the Red Celt's forces. And as you can see, the Red Celt is actually moving his entire army over here to, I think, fight this left-hand flank and possibly see what the center flank does. But the the Red Celt is going to have a distinct advantage because he's going to be using all of his forces to concentrate on this small area. Meanwhile, these guys on the right-hand flank have to do catch-up. But it looks like we've got some of the late Swiss nobles moving forwards, and we may actually have some aggressive cab play here by Hamdog. The Swiss nobles looked like they were going to go into the mounted sergeants with a nice charge. But the Red Celt moving his forces just down the valley floor a little bit more. And I did cut out about 10 minutes of the battle of the two opponents trying to find an even playing ground. So I really do appreciate that you guys didn't, you know, camp the hill or anything, but you did try to find this lower valley where it's a little bit more even. But it looks like the archer sergeants are harassing the mounted sergeants, so they're going to have to pull back out of range. But we've got the Swiss nobles coming in, and even in the center as well, looks like the Red Celt is not noticing. Ooh, some big hits here with the Swiss nobles on 2 units of the retinue longbowmen. And it looks like he's lost about 40 men out of both of those. And here we go. Looks like we've got a charge from the Swiss nobles into the mounted sergeants who are just standing there. They didn't actually get a return charge. This unit is being committed, although I would have first taken this unit and maybe slammed into the Zalringer spear militia, although they are in spear walls, so maybe that wouldn't have been a good idea. But maybe these Uri swordsmen would have done well to have a charge. And let's see what's going on the other flank. It's a little bit more quiet on the other flank. Ooh, it looks like the English king being focused down by the crossbows over here, moving up under the cover of the pikemen. But these Swiss nobles will just not relent. They've already got 80 kills to their name, and they've lost 5 of their own. And over here, it looks like we've got some of the mounted sergeants wavering to the Swiss nobles and the Uri swordsmen. But we are moving some of the heavy billmen forwards, and they should be able to rout the spear militia quite quickly. You can see that they are already wavering there. But really just scattered battle lines all over the place, and I think the Red Celt is having a little bit of difficulty controlling this center. But the sergeants of the late period will definitely win against the Burn Macemen, but the Red Celt has to be careful with that English king. And what do we got going on over here? It looks like the mounted sergeants actually trying to get a charge off on the Swiss nobles, but that was kind of a risky move just due to the fact that they are not supported over here. But the Red Celt, maybe he did want to tie up this entire wing so that he had time to get control of other points in the battle. But it looks like Hamdog is just going to flank around with those spears, but they're actually being focused down quite heavily by archers. Although the longbows are now in melee against the Burn Macemen. But it's not looking good for the Red Celt. He's definitely lost the balance of power, and he's lost about 400 men in this engagement so far. Or wait, has he lost more than that? No, about 300 men. And Hamdog has lost about the same, so it's pretty even, but Hamdog does have the larger force by about 400. So yeah, it's not looking good for the Red Celt. He also needs to keep the English king well out of range of those crossbows, because it looks like those crossbows are eager to get some shots off and kill him for good, and thus secure the victory. But it looks like the mounted sergeants were able to drive off these Swiss nobles over here, but now they're engaged against the Uri swordsmen. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion just for a minute. We've actually got the pikemen forming a square formation. I'm not sure if the billmen are going to be able to deal with that properly, especially while under fire from these crossbows. And this unit of billmen is actually facing the wrong way, so that is not good. Not good at all. But look at the amount of men that are dying over here to the crossbow fire. Just brutal. And over on the left-hand flank, it looks like Hamdog is going to win. I'm wondering if the English king is going to go in against the spear militia. They definitely are not in any kind of shield wall. Oh my goodness, that was actually such a nice charge into the Uri swordsman as well. Getting some good hits, and that should actually break the spear militia. I'd be surprised if they survive. Actually, it looks like the English king has lost a fair few there, and there goes the general for the Red Celt. So that is definitely not good. 3 minutes left in the battle, though. Let's get some zoom-ins here. Yep, looks like we've got some more of the Swiss nobles moving in. And let's see, what are these pikemen doing? They're just kind of holding a defensive formation right now. We've got the Yuri swordsman in against the foot knightly retinue. And over here, yeah, this unit of billmen has broken. The other unit of billmen is trying to get, oh my goodness. Here comes Erlach, or Erlach? Oh, Rudolf of Erlach, yes. His name's Rudolf, though, not Erlach. That was a huge charge into the heavy billmen there, getting a side charge that is going to affect their morale, and due to the loss of their general, they may break very soon. Let's take a look at an overview of the battle. We've got the 4 units of retinue longbowmen still firing, and they do have the potential to get a lot of kills, but we've got a very healthy unit of Swiss nobles over here that could probably see off all 4 of these units. The front line is holding, though. These late period sergeants will do very well against the lower tier macemen. But if they get rear charged, it's pretty much GG. So I think these are the only 2 solid units that are left. Oh, and I'm seeing some of these Zurich swordsmen flanking around them. So the late period sergeants for England are now completely surrounded. And I think that this first battle is going to go to Hamdog. Yeah, here comes the Swiss nobles for a nice charge into the backs of them as well, but they're already wavering. This is definitely going to see them off. Nice charge there. There we go. Both units of late period sergeants breaking. And what does the Red Celt have left over here? He's got a few units of billmen, and a few units of his retinue longbowmen have returned from routing, but they are wavering once again. So looking at the man count, Hamdog does have about 1,200 men left, so he's lost 800 men in this endeavor to destroy England, and it looks like England is going to lose its entire army here.
A unit is running from the enemy!
But I'm really liking the desert landscape. It's good to kind of mix them up every once in a while. If you guys can find a flat, snowy map, that would be pretty cool, too. Kind of like I had in Rome 2. For my first round, I did the grass battle. Second round was desert, and third round was snow. Just to kind of not make it so boring, like everyone is exactly the same. But here comes Rudolf, getting a nice charge into the retinue longbowmen there, down to 14 men. How many is the general killed here? 84 men, not bad, not bad at all. He's had some pretty huge charges against some dangerous units as well, like the heavy billmen. But I think that is going to be the end of the battle. So a close defeat. Let's take a look at the end results. So the Red Celt fielding a much smaller army by about 400 men. Some of his billmen getting decent kills, but the late period sergeants should have gotten more. The foot knightly retinue, they could have gotten a little bit better, but these longbows too, I think they're 1,000 apiece, so this is really not good kills for them. I just don't think they had enough time to be able to skirmish. And the mounted sergeants, pretty low kills as well, and those poor peasants getting 0 kills. But looking at Hamdog's army, 90 for the general, and pretty solid with all of his front-line infantry. These 2 crossbows getting a decent amount of kills, and the cavalry, the Swiss nobles, 292 and 105, so really well done there. So that is battle 1, so let's go ahead and get to the second battle. So we come now to the second battle between the Red Celt and HAMDOGCDXX, and we are once again looking at the Red Celt's army first, and he is now playing as the Swiss Waldstadt, and he's going for a very quality build, still smaller than Hamdog's force by about 500 men, but if we take a look in the front lines, he has 3 units of the late period Swiss nobles, and then he has 4 units of the crossbow sergeants. He has 1 early period and 3 high period. In for his pikes, he's got 4 units of the late period pikemen, so pretty expensive. And his infantry, his mainline infantry, is the Zurich swordsmen. 4 units of them. And then I believe, yep, we've got Rudolf of Arlek once again leading the Swiss into battle. So that's pretty much it for the Red Celts force. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other one. Taking a look at Hamdog's army now, he is playing as the Kingdom of Sweden, and he's going more for a quantity build. Sweden is pretty cheap for their roster. Most of their units, I think, are under 850 gold. But the problem is that they are tier 1 pretty much for their entire roster. So he's got 4 units of Hanseatic infantry in the front lines, which is, I think, one of their only tier 2 units, but they can form shield wall, which can be very useful. And then on either flank, he has 1 unit of Spear Bondier, totaling 2. His main line consists of the very sturdy Herdmen, medium melee infantry, 4 units of them. And then he has 2 units of Huskarls, and he's going to have to watch the Huskarls, making sure that they do not get into range of crossbows or archers, because they will just melt away right before your eyes. You have to be very careful with your Huskarls there. But he has 3 units of Swedish Knights for his calves, so heavy shock cavalry. And then he has 4 units of Atgeir Herdmen for his pike/polearms. And then his general is way back here, and it is a Swedish Knight unit. And there is the general's bodyguard, staring down his opponent, giving him the snake eye. But that's it for Hamdog's force, so let's get to the second battle. Alright, so the battle is beginning, and it looks like we've got the Red Celts forces moving forwards very aggressively here, which is a little bit risky for having a quality build. Usually the quality builds are built for holding and not for attacking massive waves or massive numbers of men. But he's not too outnumbered. He's only outnumbered by about 500, and it looks like he's going in with his Swiss nobles here for the charge. He has to watch this, though, because I believe that having them in wedge formation will reduce their missile block by minus 60%, so that is quite substantial. But we got a charge over here. Oh, no, it was stopped just at the last minute. Oh, that really sucks for the Red Celt. Oh, man, that is the worst. But now that all of the cavalry is engaged, we've got the Swedish Knights moving in here against the crossbow sergeants. Huge hits there. But the Swiss nobles have just gone right into battle and charged these Herdmen head-on, and they are actually starting to waver already. And they're cutting into the Atgeir Herdmen as well. We have the Spear Bondier on the flanks, but it doesn't look like they're engaged in melee just yet. But yeah, Hamdog again wrecking a few units of those crossbows, and then going into this third one over here, it looks like, that is still undefended. The pikemen being pulled away over here. Wow, these Swedish Knights, 38 kills and counting. We've got the generals over here as well, in a little bit of a duel here. Rudolf of Arlek is a little bit behind enemy lines, I would say, fighting the Herdmen with the Atgeir Herdmen right behind. And we just need to slow this down just a minute here. Now, even though those Swiss nobles in the late period took some damage, I think they should be able to best the Swedish Knights, being that they're tier 1. But yeah, looks like these Herdmen are... Oh, one of them steadied themselves, but the other one is breaking. So, not looking good there, but... Yeah, the Red Celt really losing his crossbows early there, but one of the Swedish Knights is actually down to half health. We've got the Huskarls over here. Not sure if they're being focused down. Doesn't look like they are currently. But we can go ahead and put this back onto play. But yeah, these two players, really explosive starts to the battle. They kind of just go in for it. Oh, careful. You're not going to get your... You're not going to get them down in time, or is he? It looks like they're just going to drop in time. The Atgeir Herdmen actually stopping before engaging, which is probably a smart thing. But the Huskarls trying to flank around the pikemen here, and it looks like the Herdmen actually going around as well. actually exploiting this gap. We need to get some of these Zurich swordsmen in there ASAP before they just completely flank around the pikes. But, ooh, yeah, the Swedish Knight unit doing a lot of damage to Rudolf and his general's bodyguard. That's with the help of the Herdman over here. Oh my goodness, and we've got the Swedish Knights in behind the Swordsmen of Zurich as well. So the Red Celt having a really hard time containing a lot of this cavalry, and there goes the general for the Swiss. That is not good at all. Oh, hopefully his superior quality troops can win the day. Looks like he did surround this unit of Akir Herdman with the Swiss nobles, so they should break pretty quickly. But all of these crossbows are just still alive, which is really causing a problem.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
Oh, big hits behind the heavy pikes there as well with the Swedish Knight General. If we zoom out here, it looks like the Red Celt is getting surrounded a little bit. A third unit of pikemen is being set up here, but they just don't really have a good position. They're trying to attack these Huskarls from behind, but they're in such a small formation. Yeah, and it looks like this unit of Akir Herdman is just about dead, so the Red Celt is forming a protective barrier here to make sure that these two units of pikemen do not get outflanked. And, okay, over here it looks like he is kind of getting things under control with the help of his Swiss nobles. And the Akir Herdmen did have their spears down, so the Swiss nobles changed their mind and decided not to engage there. But yes, he does have 2 units of cavalry that is coming back to help out, so that is a good sign. Oh, and look, the Red Celt's general has returned. Rudolf is still alive, but just barely. He's got just a few men with him, so that's what's probably keeping the morale high over here. And we've got the Swedish general making a wide berth around the entire army, or the entire battlefield, so I'm wondering where he's going. Probably just trying to stay out of the way. Here we go, though. Nice charge by the Swiss nobles into the Hanseatic infantry. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to take on both units, though, because they are pretty solid in melee. But we've got some pikemen that are freed up as well. We need to get the pikes to surround these herdmen here and get them off the battlefield for good. But where did he fall? Oh, he was coming back over here. That is not good. So Rudolf's slain on the battlefield, but looks like the Swedish knights are being bested. And once the Swiss nobles get free, these crossbows are dead. Akir Herdman over here as well. Charging the pikes in a little bit aggressively there. He's going to have to be careful. But the Herdmen over here are starting to waver, and I just don't think that they're... I just don't think the caliber of the Swedish troops are going to be able to best them. Although Hamdog is getting some really nice cavalry charges here with what's left of his Swedish knights. But the Herdmen over here look like they will be surrounded very shortly. Oh my goodness, but these Hanseatic crossbows position perfectly to fire on the heavy pikemen. But we've actually got the heavy pikemen fighting the Hanseatic infantry in melee, so I don't think that Hamdog is aware of this unit just throwing themselves on the pikes. Yeah, they're pretty much done for. And yeah, even though I think the Red Celt... Oh wow, the balance of power actually... Or, sorry, the man count actually shows that the Red Celt has more men, which I'm kind of surprised. Because it looks like there's more units. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess the units that are still left are healthier. But there we go. That unit of Swiss nobles getting a good charge into the Swedish knights. I'm not sure if they're going to make it out with the general. Looks like they are, but this unit of Hanseatic crossbows is dead. They are off the battle for good. And everything's wrapped up in the center. So luckily those pikemen were able to react just in time to save their flanks. And what's going on over here? I think we got a unit of Zurich swords that have been forgotten. I'm not even sure if they've seen melee. Actually, I could probably just check right now. Yeah, they've got 18 kills, so must have been a misclick that they were sent so far away like that. But it looks like Hamdog is forming up kind of a last stand here with his general's bodyguard.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
But as I said, it's really a risk to play as Sweden because they just don't have the staying power that a lot of other factions do, especially in these next rounds, like round 2, 3, and the final round, when you have access to better factions. I think Sweden was available in the last, in round 1. So to play them against a round 2 faction is a little bit ballsy. But yeah, I'm surprised with these Swedish Knights here holding strong. 11 kills, but we've got the 71 kills of the Swiss nobles here. They just kind of outclass the lightly armored Swedish Knights. Well, we've got some pikemen over here as well. The Hanseatic crossbows will brig very shortly to the swordsmen of Zurich. But it looks like we got another unit of herdmen over here that's come back from routing. But the pikemen have pushed in against the Akir herdmen. The general's bodyguard's going to try and get a nice, cheeky last charge into the backs of these men here. Nice charge into the Zurich swords there. But I just don't think he has enough of the unit to be able to turn this around. There goes the Akir herdman. And there goes the general's bodyguard as well, and I think that this is just about wrapped up. But really cool map here as well. I like they actually started each on the other side of this dry riverbed here, so I might actually ask if they know the coordinates of this map, because it would kind of be cool to set up on either side of the dry riverbed and then have your men charge and meet in the center. But the reason I'm kind of talking about that is because there's really just not much left to see here. Hamdog again pulling back and trying to kite the enemy as they move forwards, but as soon as these as soon as the Swiss nobles get freed up, which is now, they will end the days of running over here. And there we go. Pyrrhic victory, but a victory for the Red Celt. So the Swiss seems like a pretty solid faction to choose in round 2. But look at these kills by the pikemen. Very high kills, so well done using them effectively there. The cavalry also doing a number on the Swedish forces. And the Zurich swords as well, for being so cheap, they held their own, 130 and 106. But the crossbows just getting wrecked by Hamdog's cavalry early on in the battle. And Rudolf of Erlach, before dying, got 88 kills. Looking at the Swedish, the Akir herdmen are garbage, as I said in that round 1 battle. They just never seem to get kills. The herdmen, surprisingly low kills, but I think just being charged by the Swiss nobles was enough to break them. And the Huskarls, not too many kills. Where he did get the kills was his crossbows and his cavalry. So well done there. So it looks like the Red Celt has forced a third battle. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. Welcome, guys, to the third and final battle between the Red Celt and Hamdog. So whoever wins this one will be moving on to round 3. And again, we're looking at the Red Celt's army first. He's playing as the Empire of Nicaea, and he has a very solid infantry-focused army. Right in the front lines here, he's got 7 units of the high period Skutatoy swordsmen. And then on either flank, he has 2 units of the Dynatoy high period, so totaling 4. And he has 2 units of Skutatoy, the spearmen, tier 1 early period, 1 on each flank, totaling 2, so they're going to be supporting the cav. And only bringing 2 units of archers to the battlefield today, so he's definitely relying on his infantry focus. For his support of the 7 units of Skutatoy swordsmen, he has 4 units of the Konratoi. And for his general, the best general in the game, my absolute favorite and probably yours, is the Varangian Guard. And there is the gentleman right there with his sword. And just look at these units. I love the Varangian Guard. I really hope they come out with a tier 3 model, like something that's just so OP, capped to, obviously, 1 unit per army. But having a tier 1 Varangian Guard, I would really like to see like a tier 3 kind of full plate with a mix of 2-handed swords and 2-handed axes. But that is it for the Red Celt's forces. Again, a really nice map, but a very formidable force on the battlefield. And let's go ahead and take a look at Hamdog's. And here is Hamdog's army, and he is also playing as the Empire of Nicaea, so a little bit of Nicaean civil war going on. But he is playing in his very iconic tiered defense. He plays this way quite a bit with staggering missiles and infantry. But I'm going to need this on because he's got quite a mix of units. So he has 2 units of the Tier 2 heavy archers in the front lines. And then for his mainline infantry, he has 3 units of the Skutatoy swordsmen of the High Period. Right in behind that, he has 2 units of Mortatoi, which is a Tier 1 bow. And then right in behind that, he has 2 units of the Skutatoy swordsmen early period. And he's also bringing some pikes to the battle, but he only has 3, not 4 like the Red Celt of the Kontoratoi. And we've also got a Varangian Guard over here, although this isn't the General. The General is the Spathroi Guard. And it kind of looks like the same General that was in the Red Celt's Varangian Guard unit. Same kind of style, but I love the Spathroi Guard because they've all got these really nice capes on. I would like the capes to be a little bit longer, though. These kind of look like short capes. But for his cavalry force, on this one flank, he has a unit of medium skirmish cav, the mounted Akratai? Not exactly sure, but interesting. I just haven't seen that unit before. Oh yes, he's also got 2 units of the Skutatoy of the early period, these spears. But for his main cavalry force, he's going with the 3 units of high period Dynatoi. Very, very solid cavalry for the Empire of Nicaea. But that is it, so let's take a look at the final battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, the Red Celt's forces are moving forwards to engage Hamdog's army, and it looks like from the distance we've got the mounted raiders coming to harass the Nicaean cavalry of the Red Celt very early on, but it looks like they're going to escape just in time. But they are quick, much quicker than the Dynatoi of the High Period that the Red Celt is fielding, so this unit does have the potential to do a lot of damage to this cavalry. Very, very dangerous having one of these kind of loose on the battlefield. I would try to maybe bait it closer to my forces instead of coming so far over towards Hamdog's line. These heavy archers almost in range of the Dynatoi now. But it looks like the Dynatoi of the High Period from Hamdog was trying to bait these 2 units in, but it looks like that's not going to happen. We've got a lot of high period shock cavalry for Hamdog, though, kind of right in the front, facing the lines of the Red Celt's forces. Looks like he is going to get his men pretty cleanly into battle, though. Over here, oh, nice! Over here, actually catching the mounted Akrite, I believe, in melee, and they are wavering. That is a problem. But it looks like we got some Dynatoi coming over here. I'm not sure if they're going to charge into the main lines, but the Red Celt is not prepared for this. This is going to be a huge charge. Oh my goodness. Yeah, hitting 2 of the units. They were not even in shield wall as well. So that is a big problem for the Red Celt. Look at that. This unit already wavering. Big problem for the main front line that I was just relishing over 5 minutes ago. But look at these 2 units of Skutatoy actually have really low morale as well. It looks like 1 unit of Dynatoi is tied up the 2 units of the Red Celt's shock cavalry, but we do have the Skutatoy of the early period also making sure that that cavalry does not escape. But the main line is kind of all over the place, and it looks like the General's bodyguard actually having to get involved for the Red Celt as well to just hold the line over here. We've got some archers that are trying to pick apart the Skutatoy of the early period that are hopefully going to be able to even out the tide here. 2 units of Dynatoi of the High Period against the 1 unit, but with the spears they may be able to pull through. And I'm just going to kind of keep an overview here and see what is going on. HAMDOGCDXX has a really nice position for his archers as well. You can see that none of them are obstructed, and he does have reserves. Well, it looks like the entire army of the Red Celt is in melee at this current point in time. But we've got the Dynatoi for Hamdog actually sneaking right through these little openings in the in the front line and getting a nice charge over here into the backs of the Kontoratoi and Skututoi, and even the Skututoi swordsman here as well. But Hamdog's pikeman is breaking in the center. Luckily, he does have reserves to send in, though, which is good. And we've got a lot of Red Celt's forces here in the center, being held back by only 2 units for Hamdog. And it looks like we got this unit of Skututoi swordsmen of the early period fighting the archers. And I think that's a battle that these archers will... Well, they are tier 3, so you never know. What's their melee stats here? Let's just put this on slow motion. 20 and 22. 24 and 12. So actually they may be able to hold their own. Oh, and definitely now that we've got some of the high period Dynatoi coming to slam on into the backs of these Skututoi swordsmen. Cavalry over here already breaking for Hamdog, so that is a bit of a problem because it's freeing up his entire flank. The Red Celt's entire flank, that is. Just kind of watching to see if there's any other maneuvering going on. But over here, actually, it looks like we've got some of these Skututoi swordsmen that have completely flanked around these units, these 3 units. Luckily, the unit of Skututoi swords in the front have broken, so I think they've lost that penalty for being surrounded. And now I'm starting to see 1 or 2 units of the archers being obstructed as they're trying to fire on units that are in the open. This unit of pikemen does look like a good target to go for, though. What's the balance of power here? We've got 1,320, well, 1,300 to 1,440. So, yeah, Hamdog's Nicaean army does have the man count on the Red Celt. But this front line, it's kind of just all over the place. It's hard for the Red Celt to actually gain some control. But he does have a unit of the Dynatoi over here that are kind of freed up. So I think he is going to try and go into this unit of archers here. Yeah, well done there. Nice charge into that archer unit. It's pretty undefended as well. But we've got some pikemen over here and Hamdog's general's bodyguard to kind of zone them out from getting any of the other archers.
Our men have regrouped.
And still very close over here. I'm not exactly sure who is actually winning this engagement. Oh, but the Red Celt making a very big... Oh, that's such a risk pulling out his cavalry, and already one of them has broken. I know that he needs this cavalry, but the units will always do better just holding where they are in melee. There's not really much use in pulling them out. I'd say 1 time out of 10, it's for something that is worthwhile. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion here. And it looks like we've got some of the Skututoi swordsmen for Hamdog breaking to the might of the Varangian Guard's General's Bodyguard. Very nice. And the Red Celt's Dynatoi still holding out there against the pikemen. And it looks like we've got a charge over there against the archers. Yeah, hitting pretty hard into the Milita archers there, but being that they're tier 3 and against a very depleted unit, they may still hold on. But man, things aren't looking good for the Red Celt. A lot of his forces are scattered. They're divided. The general is still alive, though, which is good. But then again, so is Hamdog's over here. Bit of a problem. Let's go ahead and pop that back on play. And just look at this battlefield. Again, with one of these units here that's returned from routing. I don't think he notices that, but there we go. Another big charge. Not in shield wall by this. Only a unit of 17 men, but look at that, just wrecking that unit that probably had, I'd say, 65 to 80 men in it. So never underestimate your cavalry. Even as many as 10 men in the unit can just do so much damage. But here we go. It looks like things are starting to wrap up over on... Oops. Oh, sorry about that. I kind of glitched the camera out there. But it looks like things are starting to wrap up over on this side. 2 minutes left in the battle, but all we've got over here are some Skutadoi of the early period, and it looks like those archers are going to break. Oh, we've got the General's Bodyguard coming in over here. Very nice. Let's actually get some slow motion and zoom right into the battle. So we've almost got Varangian Guard versus Varangian Guard here. You can see the heavy axes. Let's actually zip over to this side, where they're kind of just separated by these spears here. There we go, and we've got some of the pikemen pushing forwards from behind as well. Let's just watch a little bit of this engagement here. Give me enough time to get a drink of water. But keep in mind that this is the Red Celt's general, the Varangian Guard, but the Varangian Guard unit that's being supplied by Hamdog here to the front line is not his general. I believe the general is back there, the Spathroid Guard. So it is out of melee and very much alive. And with the man count, yeah, 524 for Hamdog, or sorry, for the Red Celt, and 940 for Hamdog. So Hamdog has the man count, and it looks like Hamdog will be moving on to round 3. But a tough, tough scrap.
The enemy refuses to admit our men are breaking off.
Really, really close battles here. And now it looks like we've got the general in melee, the Spathroid Guard. Let's compare the Varangian Guards here. Hamdog's 106 kills and 64 for the Red Celt's general, which I kind of find a surprise. I find kind of surprising. Kind of surprising. Oh, I'm a little dyslexic today. But the Red Celt's Varangian Guard has been in melee much longer than Hamdog's, so I think it just comes down to good positioning for them. But we've got some pikemen being run into melee as well over here. What's it looking like on the other flanks? Looks like Hamdog's got that flank under control. We've got some archers here just destroying the last of the Skutadoi swords. And we've got a unit of Dynatoi that's coming in. Let's go ahead and slow motion this and jump right into this unit. Because it looks like Hamdog is going to be victorious, so I'm not really bothered about seeing anything else that would be tactical. And look at this unit. There's probably about 15 in this unit, but just getting a well-placed charge into the back of this Varangian Guard is probably going to be pretty deadly. Yeah, nice hits there. Didn't really knock too, well, knocked a couple over there. But just, that's going to be a huge morale penalty there. And yeah, look at that general starting to waver there. With 66 kills, it looks like he is going to go down. And there we go. So Hamdog is on to round 3. And that means he will be facing Hoenn Master in round 3. So that pretty much takes care of the left side of my tournament bracket. So on the right side, we just have Azrian and Cassius, and Gearhawk and Johnny to resolve. And then we'll have all of our round 3 contestants set up for round 3. Well, there goes. The general's fallen. Let's kind of zoom in to this last effort by the Skutadoi swordsman. Yeah, barely any resistance from them at all. The Dynatoi just throwing them all to the dirt in a valiant defeat. Oh, man. So, let's see. Red Celt actually fielding more men for a change there. But where did he go wrong? Those 2 units of archers, not many kills. 2 spears, not many kills. These 2 units of Dynatoi did good. Oh, 331 by that 1 unit. That's insane. But I think Hamdog did much better with his archers. And looking at the pikemen, I'd say it's pretty even. General, pretty even as well. But I think where Hamdog made up for it was just the Skutadoi swordsmen just didn't get as much kills as they needed to. Looking at Hamdog's Skutadoi swords, 70, 77, 58, which is pretty solid. Like, these ones are lower, 41, 24, 52. And I think it's mostly the archers and the Varangian Guard unit that kind of made up the man count. But it came down to a pretty close battle. This isn't accurate. I think at the battle's end, Hamdog had about 350, maybe 400 men left. Maybe 500. I'm not 100% sure, but not many. So, yes, thank you for watching the next round 2 battle, or a series of battles. So we've got 2 more round 2 series to go, and then we're on to round 3. So again, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.